lunch and dinner. This is Red Raider basketball with head coach Chris Beard. Red Raiders coming off of two victories over Troy and knocked off Grambling State last night at United Supermarkets Arena. So, Coach, I would imagine this Monday is a little bit calmer than the previous Monday. At this point, last time you were trying really intensively to get an opponent on the schedule. You got Troy. How you feeling today, man?
Feel okay. Excited about the next opportunity. Um, Told the guys this morning in prep, Abilene Christian is an NCAA tournament team on paper, so we got a great opportunity. This year's scheduling has obviously been a real challenge. You mentioned a week ago when we found out St. John's didn't want to play, and Sean Sutton kind of led the charge on our staff. Wednesday's another game. Sean Sutton did a great job scheduling this game. Be a high RPI game for us. ACU's in the top 25 in most of the net and rankings. I'm not talking about the AP stuff you read in the newspaper. I'm talking about the inner guts of college basketball.
Right.
One of the only 5-0 teams in college basketball. Just a good team. So Wednesday is an opportunity for us. So we're always excited around here when we have an opportunity.
What do you like about your team so far? What's got you excited?
Well, I think the guys are trying really hard. There's been a relationship between what we try to do in practice and what we try to do in games. So there's been some carryover. It's always a thing a coach looks at, especially early in the year with new players and young players. So I think the guys, effort hadn't been a problem. Guys are trying to do what we need done, what we want done on a day-to-day basis. Now, with most teams right now, especially a team that has new parts like we do, we're a work in progress. We're not a finished product, not anywhere close. But I do like our effort, and I like our willingness to try to be on the same page.
That's something that seems to be consistent, Coach. You talk a lot about consistency, but I remember I think it was about 2 months ago when you just popped out of a workout or something, and I asked you about the guys, and you were like, "They're playing hard." So that seems to be have been a consistent um, trait for this team. Is that a decent statement there? Is that right?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Thank you. Accurate.
Every team has kind of a different identity, and most teams in college basketball at this level play hard, but do they play hard every possession, every practice, every game? From a coaching standpoint, the objective is for us to go out there and coach basketball every day, not motivate effort, coach attitudes, and a lot of times that's the first step.
Heard you
Like
say that before.
don't beat yourselves. This year's team hadn't beat ourselves. We haven't played. We didn't play well in the first half against Houston, but it wasn't because of lack of effort. So that's been a good thing. I also think this team is competitive. You and I, Jeff, talked about that before. Like we compete. Whether it's ping pong in the locker room or trivia on the bus or pre-practice shooting or post-practice free throws. This team has an ability, a desire, kind of a love of competing, and that's special too. These traits, playing hard, competing, these things normally pay pretty big dividends.
Speaking of consistency, I thought we saw some out of Kyler Edwards in these two games this week. He goes 4 for 5 from behind the arc against Troy, and then gets himself a double double with 5 assists. What did you think of Kyler in those two games, the last two that we played?
Yeah, I mean, when Kyler is right, when Kyler is playing his game, I would argue he's one of the best players in college basketball. Consistency is the thing, and he's no different than a lot of players around the country that are trying to go from, player of the week to all conference, from all conference to pro, from pro to the green room. Like you're always trying to get to that next step, and Kyler's right there. I think if we're sitting here next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, still talking about Kyler having the kind of production that he had the last couple games, then we're going to be sitting here in good shape.
Namari Burnett, 6 steals. Man, I mean, it's one of those deals. I don't. It's you go back. I watch these games and call them and try to be as detailed as possible. So a lot of times things can slip through the cracks. When we went back and we were doing our post, we're like, Namari got 6 steals. I mean, is that something that we can expect from him in the future? That kind of production?
Yeah, I don't know if you can expect six
Six,
steals a
right?
game. If he does that, it'd be the. But I wouldn't put it past him. This is a talented guy. Length and athleticism, intelligence to anticipate, desire to play on that end of the floor early in his career. We've seen this. It wasn't like a one game six steal deal. He's been consistently putting some steals on the boards each night. we had some great individual statistics in this last game. Obviously, we had some guys with low turnovers and high assists. Namari goes 6 steals. Marcus gets 3 offensive rebounds and limited playing time. Had 2 players shoot 100% from the free throw line, 6 for 6, 7 for 7. So
And Amari was one of those.
as a team, we caused 30 turnovers. So the stat sheet popped. Like there's a way to win a basketball game. You got to go win the game, and you got to have some individual performances. Part of our game. Back to that Houston game. I don't know if there was one player that just said, "Hey, we're not losing tonight." And in this last game, we had some great individual performances. Certainly, Namari's 6 steals was pretty special.
Talking to Coach Beard here on his show. Make a basketball move over to Rudy's.com to place your curbside pickup or delivery order and enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, Rudy's signature sauces, and delicious sides from your home. How about big Tyreek? The move, I mean, he did a lot of good things, and I'm enjoying watching him play. But I want to talk to you about his take to the basket, angle left, rip, go, finish. That's big time.
Jeff, what do you think about the combo here tonight? I'm looking up here on the screen. Does this striped shirt go with these gray pants? I just kind of normally just grab it. These were the next ones in the pile, and I think it does, but I'm not sure.
I think it does. I mean, it is a little different than what I'm used to seeing you in.
Yeah, you're rocking it as normal, the classic red on black.
Hey, did you see these two?
Nice.
Good touch.
Red Sox.
My shoes are 10 years old.
I don't mind them. I had those. I won a lot of games on Coach Knight and Pat's staff wearing those shoes.
A little slip-on action.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So we'll get back to Tyreek in a minute. Do you like the casual feel of what you guys have gone to on the sideline, or do you miss the suit?
On game day, I do, but I'm a traditional guy. I didn't want a bunch of bells and whistles on our floor. I want that double T. I'm a traditional guy. There's just something about the game. Wearing a suit and tie is just the way I've always done it, and so it feels a little bit awkward. But I think this is where this is going. Most things trickle down from the NBA. In college basketball, yoga. What are you talking about? NBA gets yoga. We all got yoga. Prax facility. What are you talking about? NBA gets them. It trickles down. Open post, positionless basketball, ghost screens. So this latest thing in the NBA, is the casual deal, and so I would not be surprised if it trickles down. Great eye on Tariq.
Can I do a game in shorts?
Yes, you've earned that.
Thank you.
You've earned the right to do that.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Flip flops or tennis shoes.
I'll go tennis shoes.
What you can't do, man, is kind of a middle-aged white guys. You don't want to go with the tennis shoes and long socks.
I can't do that. I don't have any of those. No.
You got to go with no-shows.
Yes, no-shows.
Now, what I was doing is I was wearing the no-shows with this, and I got roasted by the women in my life because they say if you do this, you have to go with the socks. So be careful with the no-shows with pants, but be careful with the long socks with shorts.
Okay. Yeah.
You're doing fine.
Okay, but I don't know if you noticed this. Last week I went with tennis shoes and no-shows with slacks.
I think that's okay.
I do too.
But I've been told I don't know. Maybe the tennis shoes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tariq made 2 plays in that last game, 2 games ago, that you recognize that we were big plays around here. Player development, his future, his talent, where this is going. The rip and drive was elite. I mean, it really was. It was a drive that would work on a big Monday game, with 2 minutes left. It was a move. And then the next possession, he hits the 3. So Reek is a talented guy. Like all players, he's on 2 journeys, right? This journey is what he has to do right now to help the Texas Tech team win a possession, win a game.
I see. Doing
a pretty good job. This journey is where his game's going, trying to become an NBA player, trying to become a guy that can do all things, and we're working on both, And I like Reek's start of the season. Thought he competed in that Houston game. He's getting some things done. Just a freshman, right? We don't remember that. I like Reek's game.
Some kind of freshman. You've had a couple tuttles too. Did Tariq have a tuttle? I know Avery did.
Buzo.
Buzo got the tuttle. Yeah.
Buzo had a big one. We have some adversity on offense. Turnover, get our shot blocked, slip on the floor, bad call. Okay, no time to whine about it, right? I mean, here we go. The other team's going to try to get that ball and go the other end. We call that the total. if we can make a defensive play after an offensive misfortune. And Bozo had a big one last game. Just basically ran two guys down, played harder than the other 8 guys on the floor, and blocked the shot against the backboard. That's a big one.
Yeah, and it's good. This is a good start to your show. We've been able to cover the team. I'm going to come back and cover a few injury concerns because I know that's what people are wanting to know. So we'll visit Terrence Shannon and Kevin McCullough when we come back. This show with Coach Beard is presented by Rudy's and the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Texas Tech, innovation is at our core. Grit and determination drive our ambition. Art and culture spur our creativity. We're a community that makes Texas and the world a better place. We're a university where our accomplishments are many, our achievements are global, and our victories are glorious. Texas Tech University. From here, it's possible.
This is Red Raider basketball with head coach Chris Beard, presented by Rudy's Barbecue. You can be a hero tonight by going by, getting some Rudy's rub, Rudy's barbecue sauces. They've got the sides. Of course, pick you up some brisket. Do the moist. Don't just pay the extra $1 or $2. Do the moist brisket. Get yourself a hat. They got everything at Rudy's. South Loop and Slide, you know where it is. And for over 3 decades,
Banana pudding.
banana pudding. I've just not know. Not for me.
It's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big league.
Try to get the vanilla wafer in every bite.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
challenge, but you got to,
Parcel it out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There.
The Rudy's has been so good to us, Jeff. We know this. But if I did have one request, put a couple more vanilla wafers in the pudding.
They would do that for you, right? I mean, that kind of goes back to the salsa argument, where they charge you the salsa.
Yeah.
You're not
yeah.
getting charged salsa, are you?
After that Houston game, a couple people looked at me a little crazy. But that's okay. That's price of competing. I love it when fans and people have expectations.
Me too.
Jump on the wagon here. I mean, expectations are everything.
Yeah. For over 3 decades, Community National Bank has deployed state-of-the-art technology with all important personal touch for their customers' value. Contact the Lubbock brand today. Community National Bank. We are community. All right. Hey, Terrence Shannon, I'm watching Mac trying to go dunk, and then I look behind, and Terrence is on the ground and in a lot of pain. What went through your mind, and can you give us an update on how TJ's doing?
Yeah, he stepped on a guy's foot in the open floor, and it's part of basketball. Get him X-rayed, right there during the game. Got great doctors, Dr. Crawford, Dr. Robertson, Dr. Fye, the football doctor's been also assisting the basketball team with some COVID stuff. But Dr. Robertson I've known for a long time, and Dr. Crawford's really, really, really good. Been down a lot of roads with him, and of course, Mike Neal, our trainer. So you just trust those people. And X-rays looked good. You're just dealing with a high ankle sprain. Those things can be a day, 3 days, a week. It's day to day. I've never been a big believer in the old 3 weeks, 6 weeks, because I think every human body is different. In my life, I saw Kobe come back from 6-week injuries in 6 days. What I know about Kev and TJ is these guys are committed. They shift their focus to the training room. So instead of being in the gym all day long, you get in that training room all day long. So we're grinding. Those guys will be back sooner than later. From a coaching standpoint, I don't ever let those guys come back unless they're 100%. You got some exceptions. Tariq Owens wanted to play in that championship game. Doctor told me he cannot make it any worse. Tariq and his dad made that decision. But guys like Kev and TJ, we'll play them when they're 100% ready to play.
Is that a nerve-wracking walkover from Mike Neal? Because you're in the middle of coaching a game. It's late in the game, but you're still coaching. And then he comes over and, he's got some news, probably. Is that a nerve-wracking little conversation you're about to have?
Yeah, it's not fun. I mean, you want the players to play. I always feel that way about the opponent, too.
Same here.
I hate it when the opponent guy has a guy go down. I just, the game should be played with you at full strength, us at full strength. Let's throw it up. Best team wins for 40 minutes. But it's a part of it. Good news with today's technology, doctors, medicine. I mean, these guys are going to play again. They get back. There's no such thing really as is something that's going to knock you out forever. And so it's part of it. What we do is try to do everything we can control. You know, I mean, with that game, TJ Shannon, there was 12 minutes left in the game. He's got to get a certain amount of minutes in that game. It wasn't like he's out there running around with 5 or 6 minutes left in the game.
No.
So we're going to play TJ probably till the 10-minute mark when we have a lead like that. So no second guessing there. You know, it's just one of those freak plays in basketball, but TJ will be back.
You've been consistent with that too. I enjoyed watching Kyler kind of run around and coach a little, have fun a little, watching Vlad. Hey, Coach, you got a crowd favorite in Vlad already, Vlad Golden, and really, where are we at in his journey? You talk about journeys, but this is another young guy. Now he's 7'1" and looks like a freak of nature out there, but he's a baby kind of. So where are we at in Vlad's journey?
Yeah, we're ahead of schedule. You know, again, the two battles. You know, each player's going through them. How do I help this year's team? How do I play tomorrow night? What is my role? How can I help this team? And there's a role for Vlad right now. You know, a little bit of misfortune, adversity that we can't play him in those first two games,
Right.
Because of a little hand deal. But to get him in, you know, the last couple games has been good. And then that other journey, you know, where are you going with your career? Well, expectations for Vlad's to be an NBA player. 7 foot, can shoot, can guard, smart, tough, and this is where we're going. So, you know, when Vlad's in the weight room at 9 o'clock in the morning, that's as important as when we play a game at 7 o'clock right now for his individual battle. And I'm all about the individual road too. You know, the plan was always to get some NBA players around here and we could do something. We get a couple and we're playing on Monday night. You know, it's not an accident. It's always the plan. So we're totally committed to developing our players and letting them chase their dreams. We're not afraid to talk about it during the season. This is what we're doing. But we also have a culture where we understand the most important thing right now is our team and trying to win the next game. So Vlad's working hard. He's improved his body. He's improved some skill. He's been in that film room learning the American game. Works hard every day. Got a long ways to go, but he's got the talent to get him there.
Tell me about Abilene Christian. You go way back with Joe Golding, lots of connections, kind of like, you know, a lot of these games it seems like we get in here. But tell me about ACU. 5-0 on the season. Like you mentioned early on in the show, one of the only teams that have that distinction.
Yeah, relationships all over the place in this game. Another game that made a lot of sense for both teams, even though you don't like competing with friends and family. I mean, ACU's top 25 right now. Net, RPI, one of the only 5-0 undefeated teams. They won the championship, you know, right there in the fight 2 years in a row. They played Kentucky in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago. They've got some guys playing pro basketball. I coached Golding. Golding was a junior guard at Abilene Christian when I was an assistant there. Joe Golding's a best friend type guy to me. We've done a lot of things over the years together, and Joe's my guy. Brett Tanner, their associate head coach, that's really running their defense in a lot of ways. They got a great defense. They cause 24 turnovers a game, Jeff. That's number one in Division I basketball, 24. The game within the game, right? We really don't plan on throwing it away 24 times, but they're going to try to make us do it. Brett Tanner was my assistant coach in my first head coaching junior college job at Fort Scott. Me and Brett started years ago in 1999 in Fort Scott, Kansas. Brett gets a lot of credit for being one of the architects of the whole Stephen F. Austin machine that is now.
Yeah.
Did a lot of good work there. Now he's really, you know, taking ACU from a Division II through the transition to one of the best mid-majors in basketball. John Trilly on that staff was our player development guy when we were at Little Rock, won a championship with John. John's special. I worked for John Trilly's dad in my first Division I job at North Texas. So it's like a family tree in this game. And don't really like playing against friends, but this game just makes sense. Two good teams, 2.5 hours away. This will be a good game for both teams. They have our complete respect and attention because they're good. You know, they're a good team. Anybody watching the show, listening to the show here, worth the price of the ticket Wednesday night. If you disagree with me after coming to the game, call me. I'll give you your money back. You're going to see one of the best mid-major teams in college basketball, a team that's going to the NCAA tournament. And then our team, you know, we're trying to be good too.
Yeah, last year, again, great number, 65 points a game. That was number one in the Southland in scoring defense. So ACU, no doubt, is playing D. Okay, let's. I know you had a little bit of a pitch last night after the game as far as getting season ticket holders that maybe can't come and get it into the hands, because I think there's a huge population out there that wants to come to the games that just don't know exactly how. So let's take this time again to put that message forward, then we'll let you go.
Yeah, I appreciate the platform. You know, two messages. One, super appreciative, thankful, always have been, always will be, of the people that invest their time and money in buying the tickets and coming to the games. I'll just give you the facts. It's not my opinion, not trying to get personal, the facts. We're only getting about 50% of the season ticket holders' seats that have the seats for these games scanned. People have these seats, they're not filling them. I get it. The COVID-19, nobody's taking this more serious than us, me, our family. We get it, right? You can't come to every game. You don't want to come to every game. That's your right. But can you please take the extra time and effort to give your ticket to somebody that does want to come? So if we can get our season tickets scanned completely, get those people in the seats, we're doing great. Next message is to the people that didn't get the season tickets to that game or any game or that game. Tickets are available. You know, these tickets are available. And we thought we had a great plan. We obviously never done this before. There's never been a worldwide epidemic during college basketball. There's never been a 25% COVID deal. So, look, you know, if we've made some mistakes in this, then we own it. Put it on me. You can put it on me. But now, you know, I'm asking, hey, let's try to figure this out. But if you're out there and you want to come to a game, you were a season ticket holder last year, you don't have tickets for the ACU game, tickets are available. Call the ticket office. We're selling them. Yes, you might have to sit in the upper deck. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Nope.
You know, try it. And you know, if sitting in the upper deck's keeping you from coming to the game, you know, I just ask you to reconsider. You know, just please come to the game. There's not a bad seat in the house. Some of our fans that have mobility issues, you know, I think about my own mom and dad trying to come to the game. The upper deck will be a problem. We'll work with you. You know, we'll work with you. Just let us know. I don't think we're in the business of telling people no. We're trying to say yes. But it's just the reality of 15,000 to 3,800, 100% to 25%. It is what it is. But tickets are available. You know, we apologize if we've, you know, kind of messed this thing up a little bit. But, you know, we're truth tellers, you know. Accept our apology and come back to the games, please.
Well, again, it's going to make a huge difference with that disparity. If you get as many as you can in here, it will make a massive difference when ACU is here, Kansas, on down the line. Red Raider Nation, you have the ability to make a big difference for this basketball program, and we all know you have, too, throughout the Chris Beard era and overall. Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck against ACU and, the Islanders on Saturday, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, man.
All right, that's Chris Beard. We've got more coming up on his show with Mark Adams on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Texas Tech, innovation is at our core. Grit and determination drive our ambition. Art and culture spur our creativity. We're a community that makes Texas and the world a better place. We're a university where our accomplishments are many, our achievements are global, and our victories are glorious. Texas Tech University. From here, it's possible.
And we're back here on Red Raider Basketball with head coach Chris Beard, presented by Rudy's. Be a hero tonight. Go by, get that turkey, get some ribs, get the sides. Coach Beard talked about the banana pudding. Make sure to get that. All those great things can be happening at Rudy's, and they have the store in there as well, where you can get some cold drinks, take it home to the family. You'll be a hero. And they use the 100% oak to smoke their meats. Stop by Rudy's.com and place your curbside pickup or delivery order for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I am Jeff Haxton, joined now by Mark Adams, assistant coach, defensive genius, and all other. Mark Adams, Coach, welcome into the program. How are you?
Well, thank you, Jeff. Thanks for those kind words. Keep reminding Coach Beard that. He forgets them sometimes. So.
Okay, and so that takes me to the next thing. As he departed, he wanted me to ask you this question. Do you feel like Coach Beard's big brother, father, or grandfather?
Did you put a pet or a dog in there anywhere that gets yelled at and screamed at and it's in the doghouse? That's what I feel like most of the time.
We can
put
add
that one in there.
Add household pet.
Oh, maybe all those things. But seriously, yeah, Coach Beard's been great to me overall. We kid each other a lot, but we've got a great relationship. And, God blessed me when he sent me to Little Rock to be an assistant coach for Coach Beard, and it's been a great relationship, and we've had a lot of fun together.
When you were hanging out with the Cotton Kings, and I'm sorry that was before my time. I wish I'd have been able to see some of those because I always hear great stories. Did you ever envision this kind of path that you would end up locking yourself into? And again, it's been such an incredible ride. Did you ever envision something like that happening?
That's a great question, Jeff. And I always wanted to get back to coaching basketball. And even when I was with the Cotton Kings, I'd sneak over to John Copeland's workout at Lubbock Christian, and he'd let me get down on the floor on occasion. And also at South Plains with Steve Green's a great friend of mine. And so, I still had an itch to continue to coach. And during that time, Coach Beard and I became really good friends when he was here at Texas Tech, an assistant. And we talked a lot about getting back together. And when I got the job at Howard College and worked, he had a couple of interviews where he was really close to getting a head coaching job on the Division I, and he said he was going to take me with him. So we'd have kind of already talked about it and planned it out at one time. And I think, it took about 4 or 5 years later for it to come to fruition. But, we kind of knew it might happen.
Man, did it. And it came together in a hurry, kind of an explosion of success there once you got to Little Rock. Did a terrific job in that year. Of course, we all know almost made the Sweet 16. Then you get here to Lubbock, and then things don't explode in year one, but you learned a lot. Take me through how this defensive philosophy that you have, and Coach, again, I graduated with 30 people in my high school and in the class, okay?
So you're in the top 30.
I was in the top 30,
right.
Man. Maybe 29, but I was in the top 30. So even at such a small school, a guy like me got to play basketball. But you guys remind me so much of my old coach, Doug Scott, who would drill us for about an hour before we'd even start things, but fundamentals, and it was all about defense, and that's how we won games, and it was just kind of what was drilled into us. So I've loved watching you coach. But talk about how not the genesis, but how it's morphed, how it's developed and grown, your defensive philosophy over the years. Can you do that for me?
Sure. And let me just start talking about your high school coach. Most, I think, good coaches or any good teacher, it's all about habits. And you got to it's repetition until they become learned behavior. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it gets a little mundane and boring and the same on the basketball floor. But Coach Beard believes it, and I do too, that we just got to keep instilling those habits until they become instincts. But when you look back at my philosophy, I've always, as a head coach, I always put a lot of emphasis on defense. And when Coach Beard and I got together, we believe the same things. And Coach Berg, and we were at Little Rock. We had a gap defense and no middle, and had a lot of success with it. And we got here, we did the same thing the first year. But as I studied a lot of just about offenses, and offenses is in most sports it's about angles. And so what we try to do is try to limit those angles for the offense. Offense is always trying to do ball screens, pick and rolls, or some flare screen to try to get an angle to the basket. So it all came about with trying to get teams to not have the angles, and we try to use the sideline and the baseline to do that. And it started in our year 2, and we worked with it some in the summer and kind of went away from it. And then that Northwestern game is really where I think we had
what a fun day
that was. And they had a lot of sets, and we were able just to get into them, and what we called them, we started calling it side defense, and it's just grown from there.
Wow. Okay, so that's fairly recent. I was kind of wondering. I was like, was Coach Adams sitting on this in the mid '80s or that kind of deal? Doesn't sound like that's the case. What is I keep hearing ghost screen, and I keep seeing ghost screen. What's that designed to do? Enlighten me and the folks listening on what exactly that's.
Well, I still don't know how to guard it, so if somebody wants to call in and give me a tip on that. But and Coach and I talk a lot about it. But so many things originated over in Europe, and with the basketball over there, with started with just how they spread the floor, mm-hmm. and spacing such a big thing over there, and then from there it went into a lot of movement and a lot of sprinting into screens, a lot more ball screens, and then slips on ball screens where you come up like you're going to set a ball screen and then go back door. Well, this is a a situation where a guy comes like he's going to score, or like he's going to screen, and then he goes to the side, and it's called a ghost screen. It's what we call it. Other people call it other things. Very hard to guard because you never know if you're going to get a screen or not. And so there's got to be a lot of communication there. You have to be very prepared in your scouting reports. But it's one of the most difficult things for us, I think, most teams to guard.
Is it flattering to see things that you've done spread? Or is it?
Yeah,
does it
it
anger
is. No, I enjoy helping people. God's really blessed me to with just I love defense and have a passion for it, and these young people, and I get a lot of phone calls and emails and high school coaches, junior high, and college coaches as well, women's coaches, and so it's been fun to try to help other people.
Okay. We're gonna take a break. We'll come back. I'm gonna hit you with a few comparison questions from last year to this year and what you've seen so far. Again, we're talking with Coach Mark Adams. Always a lot of fun. Make sure to go by Rudy's and get that barbecue. When you take it home, you'll be a hero. Mom and Dad, make sure to hit that drive-through or go in today. South Loop and Slide. More with Coach Adams after this on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Texas Tech, innovation is at our core. Grit and determination drive our ambition. Art and culture spur our creativity. We're a community that makes Texas and the world a better place. We're a university where our accomplishments are many, our achievements are global, and our victories are glorious. Texas Tech University. From here, it's possible.
We're back on Red Raider basketball with head coach Chris Beard, joined by Mark Adams. Don't forget, for over 3 decades, Community National Bank has deployed state-of-the-art technology with the all-important personal touch our customers value. Contact the Lubbock brand today. Community National Bank. We are community. I read that a lot better this time, Coach Adams. Last time was awful. It was like, man, did that guy graduate with 30 people?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The answer is yes, all the way back in 1996. Okay, so every year is so different from the year before. I mean, you guys have recruited so well that you get now 3 guys drafted that are here for a year or 2 most. So you have these grad transfers now. I mean, that has changed so much over the years. A year where the eligibility doesn't count against you. I mean, there's just constant things that you guys are juggling. I mean, you guys are, you should be in the circus with the juggling acts. So if you could, what are some of the differences that you're seeing from this year's team in comparison to last year's team? Can you do that for me?
Sure. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of moving parts. And with us every year, Coach Beard, his philosophy is he wants to win now. And so, some coaches just try to build it and start with freshmen and wait till they get to be juniors or seniors and try to capitalize on that. But, we're trying to win every year. And if you do that, you take some risk and you try to bring in the very best players you can at that time. And to credit Coach Beard, we've done that. I mean, very fortunate with it. Now, the difference from this year and last year, I think we've got more depth, and which helps us in a lot of ways, but especially on defense. So we like to sub in a lot of guys and keep the intensity up. So it's helped us and helped me on that end of it, different from last year. I think we've got older guys overall, half the team back from last year, and then you got to get Marcus Silva in there, and then also with Mac, we've got some experience, and JB. So these guys have come from programs that play some defense. So, it's been advantageous to have those older guys and the guys return everybody's bought into defense. And so attitude's a big part of that. And we've got a great group of guys. Coaches say that every year, but this is a special group. Reminds me a lot of that team 2 years ago. And they're coachable, and they want to play defense, and they've had great attitudes.
We've been missing Kevin McCullough because he went down right before the season started. That's happened to you guys before, too. Lawrence Odiase had that happen to him right before the year, but his was more severe, at least looks like. So McCullough, upon his return, what will some of the big noticeable differences be when he gets back in year 5?
The most noticeable difference, I'll have a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Because he's by far he and Kyle are 2 best defensive players.
I was going to ask you that.
On the defensive end, he's a big 6'6". He can guard 4 positions. He's long, athletic, and
wants to do it.
And has great attitude. He's got a high motor, and he's smart out on the floor. He's got a high IQ, and then he's got the experience from last year and then the year before that one semester's here just watching. So, I always listen to him. He has great suggestions, and even now that he's hurt, but on the bench he'll lean over and whisper in my ear and say something that usually makes sense. So, but getting him back on the floor is going to give us a lot more stability and make our defense more consistent.
Yeah, and it seemed vocally, this killed me because I couldn't watch as much practice because I just didn't want to be around just in case I might pass something around. So I didn't get to see near the practice that I usually did. But I went and sat up high one time, and it looked like to me from the middle concourse that he was your leader.
He is one of our leaders. He is, and when it's when your best players are leaders, it makes it they're more effective, and it makes it a lot better for our coaching staff. And he loves the game. He's a student of the game. He's got great instincts, and if he was playing right now, he'd probably be leading us in steals. He's got that kind of aggressiveness about him, and he reminds us a lot from the kid at Texas. Brock Cunningham, that just plays so hard, and he's got a lot of that in him. But he's more skilled on the offensive end.
That's true. Yeah, Cunningham, he makes them go, and that's why I felt like we were going to wear him out up in Kansas City because they didn't have him that day. I was like, he's their heart and soul. We're going to roll these guys today. That's the way I felt.
No question.
And we didn't get a chance.
Yeah, and we have a lot of respect for the Longhorns, but especially Brock, and he's a great example of a young man that just hustles and plays at 100% and hard-nosed kid.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this league, this Big 12. I mean, you start going over guys like him and Mark Vidal and Kevin McCullough, and you got your own kind of guys that do that as well. How did the dynamic change when you had to go socially distant? And you take your straight line and you have all this design. I don't know if people understand how much thought goes into where guys sit, and it's Sutton, Beard, okay. And I looked over there. I watched you guys talk for like 20 minutes when they took that apart and spaced it. How's that been?
Well, we spent, several hours just down the floor just looking how we were going to orchestrate it all. And, it's been a little bit like musical chairs, but it seems like at the start of the game we're 6 feet and then move into about 3 feet before it's over with. But, communication is so important in Coach Beard's culture, and so it makes that a little bit more difficult and challenging when we do that. But we've all had to make some adjustments with this pandemic, and the guys have adjusted well to it and understand that. But, that's we still don't get to hug as much and don't stay as connected as we'd like to, and so that's changed just a little bit. But coaches always constantly talking to guys about relationships and communication and making sure that we guys continue to have a great bench culture, and we're always supporting each other and talking on the bench.
Talking to Coach Mark Adams, about to wrap him up. So Coach Beard wanted to ask that question about whether you felt like big brother, father, or grandfather, and you went with household pet. He also wanted me to ask you how much do you miss Coach Berg, Pinkins, Augie, all the guys that have moved on? You miss those fellas?
I think again the credit goes back to Coach Beard. He's been wonderful at orchestrating and putting together great staff, and those are all great individuals. I talk to Augie all the time. Coach Pinkins is so happy for Berg, and I do miss Berg. Berg's one of the best teachers that I've ever been around, and so we all miss that and how hard he worked, and Tim McAllister as well, and Sip, and
he said Sip too.
Yeah,
you wanted me to bring up Sip,
and those guys are great, and all had added a lot to our program, and we miss them all, and we all stay connected, and they're all doing great.
Yeah, Coach Adams, appreciate the time, man. It's always a joy to talk to you. Keep that defense rolling, like those 40 numbers up there when it's over with, huh?
That was great. Not only that, and the turnovers that we're creating, along with the shooting percentage, we're really excited about, and the guys get all the credit for buying in. So we really appreciate them. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. That's Mark Adams. Does a great job. You know that by now, but appreciate him talking here on Red Raider Basketball with head coach Chris Beard. We'll come back after this final timeout and wrap things up on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Texas Tech, innovation is at our core. Grit and determination drive our ambition. Art and culture spur our creativity. We're a community that makes Texas and the world a better place. We're a university where our accomplishments are many, our achievements are global, and our victories are glorious. Texas Tech University. From here, it's possible.
Great barbecue starts with the wood, and Rudy's uses 100% oak to smoke their meats. Stop by rudys.com and place your curbside pickup or delivery order for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's one thing that I always like to remind our listeners about. You might not think of Rudy's for breakfast right off the top of your head. You should. The tacos there, the breakfast tacos, are fantastic. Get a little brisket taco going on, and your morning will be really good. Of course, the hot coffee and all the beverages you can get there, it's really good for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, let's look ahead at what's coming up for Texas Tech, taking on Abilene Christian at home, the USA. Fairly early evening tip, 6 o'clock with undefeated Abilene Christian. ACU is 5-0. And then on Saturday, the Red Raiders will head to the Comerica Center in Frisco, and Texas Tech will take on the Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders. So this will now make 4 Southland opponents by the time that we're done with Saturday. And again, that's 1 o'clock. And then, gosh, at a week from Thursday, the KU Jayhawks, currently ranked number 7, will be inside United Supermarkets Arena. Just one more non-con game after you open up Big 12 play with Kansas. And that'll be against Incarnate Word right after Christmas as we get through these holiday months. Keep on being thankful that we're getting to play. It's been a joy. And get out to the USA. Again, if you're one of those season ticket holders, make sure if you can't make it, something comes up, you're not feeling 100%, see about your neighbors, see about your friends on your social media lists. Network it, get those people into the seats, and Coach Beard will greatly appreciate that. And Red Raider Nation, you always make a huge difference, so we appreciate everybody that shows up to the games, and this has been a lot of fun here talking with Coach Beard and Coach Adams. That's going to wrap things up for Red Raider basketball with head coach Chris Beard. For Coach Beard and Coach Adams, remind you to join us on, again, Wednesday at 5 o'clock. That's when we'll be on the air as the Red Raiders take on the Abilene Christian Wildcats on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Until then, Jeff Haxton signing off. God bless and guns up, and we'll talk to you Wednesday.